Part 2. Hello, welcome once again to Spiritual Inspirations with Malak. Today, we're going to begin part 2 of how did melanated people from around the world lose their power? If you haven't seen our first broadcast, please go back and take a look at that so that you can catch up to where we are today. And so this is part 2. So what we want to do today is talk about spiritual conversion. This was another factor that was implemented into the non-melanated people's attack. In order to control the melanated man, woman, boy, and girl, they had to do something that would lock us in to a mental space and a spiritual space that would not allow us to continue to operate in our authentic power and spirituality. So the first thing I want to talk about is how they did what I call spiritual conversion. This was the process of, number one, researching and investigating how our spirituality and our powers were operating. After determining how we operated, whether you were on the continent of Africa, in the Americas, wherever you were at the time when the colonizer or the non-melanated people decided to come and conquer the known world, they began to put it into the leadership and the rulers' heart and mind that what was happening was wicked. The spiritual methodologies, they began to brand these acts of spirituality. They began to brand them as witchcraft. They began to brand them as evil, brand them as pagan. They began to brand them as black magic. All these terms that we have come to know as being evil, wicked, of the devil, demonic. All these things, these terminologies were placed and branded on the melanated people's spirituality, which their spirituality connected them to their actual powers that they were able to employ, to operate in. And so they sought to bring forth a religious product. This is to exchange their God in place of the gods or entities or the spiritual powers that they would begin to, or that the melanated people were observing and respecting and honoring. I think that it is the non-melanated people who have propagated the fact that the melanated man was worshiping trees and he was worshiping, and the reality is that none of that is really true. The appearance may suggest what the non-melanated man has announced or has placed in his literature. But the reality is when you actually find out what was really happening, it was not what we have been taught to believe at all. When you understand your spirituality and you understand the creative force, the creative power of the universe, and that there is a level of spirituality by which is above and beyond our ability, as a human being, as a melanated person, you give honor and respect and even homage to those powers. Our melanated people, whether they're in Americas, whether Africa, Asia, wherever they were, when the power of rain would come down, there's a level of respect to the power that released the rain, that it may continue to what? Cause life to flourish upon the earth, cause food to grow. We ourselves are 70% water. We need water to survive. If we ourselves are not the makers of rain, you would give respect and honor and even praise to the power that released the rain. The spirituality of seeing seed go in the ground and break down and then spring forth with life to produce food. That is a power. And see, as melanated people, we respected the actual process of seeing power and life be birthed and come forward. Today, we have such a colonized mentality as far as how the process of things work. We acknowledge spirituality and the natural, but in a different way. So they sought to replace our or melanated people's way of spirituality with religion. Now, this is not about bashing those who are in religion. This is not about that. This is about an education. This is about me sharing knowledge. You do with this knowledge and this teaching that I'm doing, you do with it what you will. No one is telling you you can't do whatever you desire to do with your spirituality or if you are in religion. We're simply sharing the information. But religion was not always upon the face of the earth. It doesn't matter that the non-melanated people are communicating to you that the African or the Indian, the native Indian or the whoever, they had their religions. No. That is not true. They begin to call the spirituality of non-melanated, or excuse me, of melanated people, pardon me. They began to call what they were doing religion because they wanted to replace their religion for the religion of the people whom they were trying to conquer. So it had to make sense. They had to call what they were doing a religion in order to replace it. That's replacement theory. And trying to convert, conversion of religion. So they had to tell them, no, that is not the right way to do it. This is not going to give you what you're looking for. So we need to give you our God. We need to give you our religion in order for you to have success, or in order for you to come out of your situation, to have abundance, all these different theories and lies that were told. And if they get the leaders to do it, then it's much easier to get the people to embrace it as well. And so we found that as the ancestors died off, and this information of spirituality and power was not able to be passed down, the more and the more the people were coming in with their missionaries and all these different things. I know you heard this story about they came in, they gave the melanated man a Bible and told him to pray. And by the time they finished praying, they had religion, but the non-melanated people had their land. That actually is a fact. That is not just something that is being said. And still to this day, that plan to cause spiritual conversion to melanated people is still at work. And they still have the ability to control and to keep our spirituality and our power minimalized, because we are still victims of that spiritual conversion. So we have ancestral spirituality that was made to be wicked. And then we have religious acceptance to detach the melanated man and woman, boy and girl, from their spirituality. These are weapons of mass destruction when it comes down to what the non-melanated man utilized to stop, minimize the melanated man's spirituality and detach him from his power. Because I don't want to make this video much longer, I just want to kind of just do a little sum up of what then happened. Through religion, they began to establish the savior complex. That through seeing them and making their God that they gave you look like them, the melanated man began to believe that the non-melanated people were just as powerful or just as knowledgeable, and that they were somehow directly connected to God, because they implemented imagery, portraits, everything that they did in their literary communication made the God of religion non-melanated. And therefore, it did a psychological reprogramming of the minds of melanated people. And so now, as you look at the non-melanated people, you would see God or God's descendants or the Savior or Saviors. And this then caused a psychological shift when you no longer believe you are the powerful one or you have the power or spirituality, and that now what's been the imagery, everything's been communicated to you, you now feel that they have the power. They are the knowledgeable one. They are the ones to look up to, and we should obey and listen to them. And this is pretty much how I'm trying to sum this up so that these videos aren't so long. Do some research, see how all the portraits and paintings and all the different things from Egypt or Kemet to Samaria, Ethiopia, just do some research and you'll see how the imagery, the psychological warfare against our people, the mental and spiritual warfare that was waged against us, and how we ended up losing our spirituality and losing our power. But it is time, melanated people, to wake up from the sleep Wake up from being tricked and see the realities. Come back to your ancestral spirituality and regain your power. This is Spiritual Inspirations with Malak. I hope this helps, and I hope that you will do the research for yourself and then begin the process of returning back to your spirituality and regain your power. If you would like to help us, we will have in the description box a way that you can contribute or donate to our channel to help us out. Please don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to a certain number and we need your help. It's free. Even if you don't have the ability to give a contribution or donation, you can contribute by hitting that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and share the video. Until next time, we will see you here at Spiritual Inspirations with Malak.